Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Gratitude Level Up Week 2. Thank you guys so much for coming back this week as we kick off week 2 in our Gratitude Level Up 6-week series. So, today's video is going to be centered around gratitude in a very professional environment. How does gratitude, physical gratitude, have a role within our jobs, within our offices, within our teams, with our relationships at work? So before we dive in, let's do a quick recap of what last week was. Last week we talked about what is physical gratitude and the effects physical gratitude has on us personally and those around us. The questions that we were left with last week were like, what expectations do I have for gratitude? What am I expecting to receive post gratitude? What am I looking for, right? And I hope this week you engaged with us online. We had some great feedback, so thank you guys for that. And if you are just jumping in now, I would encourage you to go back and watch week 1's video first, understanding at the very fundamental level what physical gratitude is going to better position you to really be as impacted as possible with the rest of these videos. Understanding what physical gratitude really is, understanding at the fundamental level why it's important, why getting out of our head about gratitude and actively engaging with very intentional physical acts of gratitude, why that's important, and how it affects us internally will better serve you as you listen to the rest of these videos, okay? So that was last week. This week we're going to talk about gratitude in a professional setting, and we're going to see how what we learned last week, that physical gratitude has a very real psychological, physical, and emotional effect on us and those around us. We're going to see how that is applied to our jobs. So let's first talk about like the current state of appreciation at work. Right now, I would say there is this ideology within our culture that says in order for me to do a good job at work, I have to be appreciated by everybody at the top. Right? Which there is some validity in that statement. I think the current state of appreciation at work solely hinges, though, on the expectation that appreciation and gratitude is only available to us from the top down, right? Appreciation and physical gratitude, recognition of positive contributions, can only be fulfilled and received from people at the top. While there is some validity in that statement, our leaders, when they practice gratitude and appreciation towards their teams and their employees, great things happen, and we're going to talk about that. But I think we tend to forget, and we don't always consider that there is also something powerful to be said for gratitude working like this, right? Not always top down, but also like this. Within our close-knit groups at work, within our teams, with our customers, with our suppliers, with our other business partners, within a leadership environment, within kind of the team environment, kind of below C-suite, below executive level, the people who get stuff done, like within that environment. I think it is easy for us to forget that gratitude in a professional setting doesn't always have to come from the top down. What that does, though, this top-down mentality creates a culture of dependency and expectancy. We begin to get in this routine of expecting to be fulfilled with an air of appreciation and validity within our roles from our superiors. And we begin to depend on that. We put expectations and expectations on leadership, on our bosses, right? On people within a position of power within our professional setting or our job. And while expectancy for appreciation isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? We should naturally, hopefully, expect people around us to be appreciative and to be grateful and to practice physical gratitude. The issue becomes when our soul dependency and our sense of self-worth is derived from one person's perception and opinion of us, right? We put ourselves in a dangerous situation when we start basing our entire worth, right, and value on one leader's thoughts of us. And what happens if our boss or maybe our supervisor or manager isn't amazing at being physically grateful? Well, our worth deteriorates. Our self-esteem is minimized, right? We don't think we're positively contributing. We don't think we're actually doing a great job, when the reality is our leaders maybe just aren't doing a fabulous job at communicating that we're doing good, right? So it's dangerous. It's dangerous to ever only depend on one human, because humans are humans, and we all have room for growth. And my question there is, why is it historically been the responsibility of a single leader to distribute an immense amount of gratitude within an organization? You would hope, right? You would hope that that naturally just happens because all people are wonderful and great, and they should be appreciative, and they should be actively engaging with others and communicating. The value that they bring is seen and worthy and not, invisible. It is felt. But the reality is not all people are like that. And so at what point did we decide that it was enough to assign the sole responsibility of gratitude giver to the person at the very top? My argument is, and what I would like to dive into with you guys today, is that gratitude within a professional setting is actually much more powerful should we do this, right? Should it be practiced like this? It's much more powerful. So let's kind of dive into this with this question being, what expectation do I have for gratitude at work? So gratitude at work. There's a lot of research done behind the effects of gratitude in a professional environment. One statistic is actually pretty concerning. And this statistic is that a thank you from a supervisor was noted to have boosted productivity by more than 50%. Whoa. Yet people are less likely to show gratitude at work than anywhere else. Why? Why are people less likely to show gratitude at work than anywhere else? 10% of people who express gratitude make it a daily habit at work, and 60% of people never or rarely express gratitude at work. This was a study that was done by Harvard and Wharton, by the way. Isn't that insane? Work is the least likely place that people are going to intentionally practice gratitude. Seems odd, considering most of us spend the majority of our day and our week and our lives at work. And yet this is the one place where we're least likely to act on physical gratitude. Why is that? So let's talk about the effects of actually practicing gratitude at work. Keep that statistic in mind, and now let's talk about the power of gratitude as backed up by some other studies in a professional setting. 93% of people agree that grateful bosses are more likely to succeed. So let's talk about success in terms of our bosses. I'm assuming that happier employees is on that success list. I'm assuming that a company that's able to scale is on that success list. I'm assuming increased profits, revenue is on that success list. However, this boss defines success within their organization. That increases when the boss is active and intentional about gratitude. Interesting. 88% of people say that expressing gratitude to colleagues makes them feel happier and more fulfilled. What a concept! To feel happier and more fulfilled in the place that we spend the majority of our time. Our workplace. Hi, Seeley. This is Seeley. This is one of the fur babies I was talking about. He likes to hang out when we're filming. I'm very grateful for you, Seeley. But what a concept! To feel happier and more fulfilled in the place that we spend the majority of our time. There was a study done by Harvard's medical school. And basically what this study was about, they had two groups of university fundraisers. Fundraisers, just like people that were fundraising. They had two groups of these people. One group of fundraisers was given a motivating pep talk before kind of being released to begin the fundraising activity. The pep talk was from the director of annual giving at Harvard. Well, thank you, Seeley. The pep talk was from the director of annual giving. And during the pep talk, what they focused on, was how grateful they were for the actions of the fundraisers. How grateful they were for them fundraising. The second group did not get a pep talk. Okay, so one group got that, we're grateful for you pep talk. The other group did not. So during the following week, when the actual fundraising was taking place, the study revealed that the university fundraisers, the university employees who were doing the fundraising, who heard the director's message about being valued and being thanked for their efforts, made 50% more fundraising calls than the group of fundraisers who did not. So for what it's worth, when two groups of people assigned to some sort of mission, right? Like our jobs, think of our jobs as like a mission. We have a goal, right? We've got deadlines, we've got things we're trying to achieve. Within those goals, deadlines, and missions, this group of people that received a very intentional act of gratitude being spoken to them proved to be more productive. Now note, it doesn't say that they're more successful. It doesn't say that the fundraisers raised $50,000 more than group number two. No. What the study is showing is that, no, their productivity increased, right? The steps that needed to happen to achieve the goal, those fundraising calls, more of them took place. The fundraisers' productivity increased. That is worth noting, especially within our jobs, right? If we could find a way to increase productivity within our framework, our professional framework, why would we not want to? Why would we not want to do that? So another study done by the National Institute of Health examined brain activity following when people felt gratitude, like when they received feelings of, being appreciated, or feelings of when somebody shared with them, hey, I'm grateful for you. When they felt appreciated, the National Institute of Health examined what happened in the brain during that time, as well as for people who were experiencing gratitude, people who were feeling appreciative, right? And people who were expressing gratitude. So what they found was that subjects who showed more gratitude had higher levels of activity in the hypothalamus. So, quick science lesson here. The hypothalamus is the part of your brain that controls a ton of essential bodily functions. Think like eating, drinking, sleeping. It also has influence on our metabolism and stress levels. So people who demonstrated gratitude had higher levels of activity in the part of the brain that controls essential functions, as well as contributing to, having a very real effect on stress levels and our metabolism, right? Our productivity. Are we getting stuff done? Are we asleep? They also found that feelings of gratitude directly activated brain regions associated with the neurotransmitter dopamine. Okay? So if you don't know what dopamine is, that's like the reward transmitter. That's like the, I did something good happens. That's what that is. So feelings of gratitude activated regions of our brain that are directly associated with that neurotransmitter. So kind of what that means is once we start seeing things to be grateful for, it's like a domino effect in our brain. Our brain associates gratitude and feelings of gratitude with rewards because it's good for us. I see something I'm grateful for. The region of my brain associated with dopamine or this reward transmitter is triggered. And now my brain remembers, the last time I experienced this reward feeling mentally, this feeling of, oh man, that felt good, was when I was intentionally grateful and when I was intentionally practicing gratitude. So it's like a domino effect. You do it once and your brain just keeps doing it. And it's a pretty good system up here. And once we get on this like kind of domino effect of, my brain likes to feel like it's being rewarded, we begin to start looking for things we're grateful for, right? We begin to start actively engaging with our environment, the people around us, our setting, to find other things that can make that reward-like feeling post-gratitude happen. According to Robert Emmons, who last week we talked about, he is a famous gratitude researcher. He discovered and learned that gratitude regulates, solidifies, and strengthens relationships as well. Imagine if the relationships with the people that we spend the most amount of our time with could be strengthened in a way that created positive activity in our brain without us even knowing it. Imagine if our relationships at work and in the rest of our lives, but specifically right now work, were fundamentally rooted in gratitude. Knowing what we do about how that affects our brain, now that we've just learned that, how powerful our relationships and the place we spend the most of our time would be, and the impact that a relationship built on gratitude would create for the people in the relationship, knowing the positive impact it has on our brain. How crazy would that be? Gratitude also, according to Emmons, leads to reciprocity, right? It is not only a response to kindness received, but it is also a motivator of future benevolent actions on the part of the recipient. It's just like that domino effect we were talking about. Emmons, back then, probably didn't realize, there's a scientific reason why this is happening. There's this thing called dopamine. It's like a reward neurotransmitter. Makes my brain feel really great. My body wants more instances of my brain feeling really great, so I'm going to be more grateful. Emmons, before all that, was like, he saw the connection, right? He saw when people are grateful and they act on gratitude, it becomes like a drug. They keep going. They keep doing it. And there's good reason, right? Now we know why. Gratitude is a very powerful tool to increase productivity and overall well-being in a professional environment. if we were intentional and aware, right, of us getting out of our heads and appreciating our teams, appreciating our coworkers, our customers, our leaders, people we're leading, if we got out of our head about the acknowledgement of value that they bring to the table and actually spoke those words into existence, or wrote thank you cards, or let our, coworkers know, let our colleagues know that we value them, how different our professional environments might look. Gratitude is a very real, very affordable way to increase productivity and employee morale within our workplaces. So let's go back to our question. What expectations do I have for gratitude at work? Right? What expectations do I have for gratitude at work? Should the expectation be that those top down should be the only gratitude givers, for lack of a better term? Or should my expectation be more centered around myself? In what ways can I increase the appreciation and the gratitude I give within my office, knowing the positive effect it'll have on me mentally, but also how it will positively impact the relationships I build with the people around me and the overall productivity that is experienced within my organization. Maybe our expectations for professional gratitude should be less focused on receiving it, but more inclined to giving it, becoming more inclined to give it, right? Maybe that's the shift that needs to take place. Because what'll happen when we refocus and readjust to coming from a place of, you don't appreciate me, you don't value me, to, hey, I actually really appreciate you. When we go through that transition and we intentionally become more aware and active on telling the people around us that we appreciate them, it's reciprocal. It's going to continue happening. One, your brain's going to thank you because your brain's going to want to do it more because it's good for us. And the people around you are going to know, hey, that guy sees me, or Caroline recognized me. I am a positive part of her life story now. I bring value. I want to bring more value. I like the feeling of being valued. Y'all, it's like a circle. Our brains like it when we share it, and our brains like it when we know that somebody sees us sharing it. Does that make sense? So instead of this top-down approach and expecting one giver of gratitude within our professional environments, the story now becomes, how can we work like this with gratitude? How can our expectation of receiving and giving gratitude go from one person being responsible to how can you and I as colleagues work together to increase physical appreciation within our team? Because now we know it's good for us. It's literally good for us. And it'll increase productivity, right? It's good for our organization as well. So here's what I want to wrap this week up with. For ourselves, I want you to think about this week. Why am I grateful for my job? Why am I grateful for where I go and I spend the majority of my time? There's a reason you're there, so why are you grateful for it? And for number 2, our second kind of actionable this week, this is for our teams at work. So take this back to your office and ask your team, challenge them with this. How can I better appreciate those around me? How can we as a team better appreciate each other? What does that look like for us? Maybe that means 15 minutes at the start of every day, 15 minutes at the close of every day. Hey, yesterday I saw you did this and I really appreciated it. And wrapping up the day with, hey, I really saw how you took the initiative on this project today and I just wanted to say thank you. I see you and I value your actions. Thank you. Maybe it's writing little thank you cards to one another. Maybe it's sharing small acts of gratitude, physical acts of gratitude handwritten within the office. Gratitude cards are a big deal. To receive a handwritten piece of gratitude from a coworker would be huge, right? And maybe that's what works best for your team. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's at the end of the week, always doing something as a team together to, create a more close-knit culture. Maybe it's going out to dinner. Maybe it's going for lunch, going for drinks after work. But also on the edge of, maybe you stage it in such a way where these once a week outings, maybe each week somebody on your team plans it. Right? And they plan in an effort to create something that the rest of your team will enjoy. Because why? Because we appreciate each other. Because we're getting out of our head about sharing our appreciation and our recognition of the value that people bring to our lives. We're getting out of our head. We're doing something about it. That is what's powerful about physical gratitude at work. So here's what we're going to do. This week, I challenge you to get out of your head about gratitude at work. I want you to share with me what you've done. I want you to share with me how it's impacted you and your team. And I also would like to offer you a tool to use this week. So I have got, tiny, they're so cute, y'all. They are tiny thank you cards, and they are meant to be used at your office. And I'm going to show you what they look like. Let me grab them. I have them hiding. Hold on one second. All right, so these teeny tiny thank you cards, how cute are they? I will show you guys. I will open up my pack and I will show you what they look like. These are teeny tiny thank you cards. See if I can get it to focus. And they say thank you. I promise. I don't know if that's backwards for you. Technology's weird. Anyway, they say thank you, right? And they're blank. And they're intentionally blank because y'all have to be intentional about what you're grateful for. But my commitment to you this week is if this is how you would like to practice gratitude in your office by writing little 2-minute notes to the people on your team and maybe leaving it by their computer, on their keyboard, putting it in their purse, whatever. If this is how you want to commit to being grateful this week, I will send you some tiny thank you cards for free. I will drop them in the mail today, right now, when you're watching this video. If you would just reach out and tell me, Caroline, this is how I want to say thank you to my team this week. This is how I want to commit to being intentional about physical gratitude. I want to leave tiny thank you cards all over my office. And by all means, I want to help you do it. So you just need to reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram. You can comment on this video. You can message me on Facebook. I've got kind of feelers out everywhere right now where this video is being viewed and where it's accessed. So if you engage with it in any way, if you have my contact information, you can reach out that way. It is on my radar though that these are this is something I'm offering to you. So all I need to know is that you want it, and I will send you some for free. It's just something I want to give you because if this is how you're going to do it, if this is how you're going to be real about gratitude at work this week, then I want to help you get there. So comment, message, whatever you got to do, let me know so you can get some free tiny thank you cards. This week, focus. Focus, y'all. You got to be intentional about it. You got to focus. Focus on gratitude looking more like this rather than more like this within your organization. And stay tuned for next week. Come back and see me again. We're going to be talking about gratitude and its power within our homes. As always, thank you guys so much for being involved with this content and for being a part of the Grateful and Company community. I am forever grateful for you guys, and I'm so excited for next week. Bye, guys.